Hi guys, welcome back. There is so much news flow this morning, so without wasting any time, let's get our entire research team on board. The SGX Nifty is indicating that the start will be well in the green, up almost about 40 odd points right now. So let's kick start with our entire team. Anuj, let me begin with you. What would be on your radar today?
A couple of stocks, Sonia. Daba is a stock which is making a big comeback, and I think there's some serious buying happening in Daba. I think it's clearly delivery buying from mutual funds or investors. You can see the pattern, and the stock's made a decent move, so that's something to watch out for. Granules is a stock which has been in a bull market. On Friday, it fell because the money control report that promoters are looking at an exit. So I think this will be a stock that I'll keep on my radar, because it'll be interesting to see how this one moves from here on after the kind of rally that we have seen.
Okay, that's interesting, Anuj. Well, Rima, yet again, there is buzz about Reliance Retail.
Yes, Lata, good morning. Looks like investors are now making a beeline for Reliance Retail. So last week, remember, Silver Lake invested $1 billion in Reliance Retail. And today, Mint reports suggest that Carlyle is looking to invest $1.5 to $2 billion in Reliance Retail. Though the article goes on to say that the talks are still in discussion phase of a final deal may not fructify. This is what reports are suggesting. Mint, CNBC-TV18 has not independently verified it. It cannot vouch for its authenticity. But after a near 12% rally on Reliance Industries yesterday, I think the stock will still be active today given the interest that's being reported. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. So we'll keep tracking Reliance Industries. Standard disclaimer there, owner of the channel that you're watching. But Tata Motors is another stock that's going to be on our radar today. It came out with numbers for retail sales for Jaguar Land Rover in the month of August. And they're looking bleak. In fact, the JLR retail sales in August are down 15.5% year on year. And they're down 20% on a month-on-month basis, coming in at 28,887 units. CLSA put out a note where they said that the August retail sales are a tad bit disappointing. However, the only positive is that the pace of fall in sales has reduced compared to what we saw in the entire quarter. So August sales are down 15% year on year compared to a 40% year on year drop that we saw in the entire Q1 FY21. The trend will also come up for you. August sales at 28,800, July sales were 36,420, and June sales were 35,334. So there has been a drop on a month-on-month basis.
Okay,
I'm going with
negative.
red.
Okay. Well, Nimesh, we finally got the Hexaware news as well on the way mutual funds will offer shares in the delisting.
Yes, Lata. So the delisting ends tomorrow, that is September 15th. If you look at the BSE data, close to 4 crore shares have been tendered in the reverse book building, the average between 440 to all the way up to 500 rupees per share. But the maximum bid of 2.75 crore shares has come in at 475 rupees per share. What I understand from sources, the mutual fund, the domestic mutual funds who own close to 10% of the equity have tendered their shares around 475 rupees. So that will be that looks like an anchor for most of the others to bid in there in the next 2 days from here. Remember, the company needs close to 8.26 crore shares to reach the 90% mark for a compulsory delisting. So 50% has come in by Friday itself. And as I said earlier, most of the large investors have tendered the share at 475 rupees per share, which is a 45% premium and close to 20% premium to the Friday's closing price.
Okay, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. So that's a stock to keep on our radar. Nigel, you have some results that you're tracking.
Well, that's right, Anuj. Backdated numbers because we're almost through with Q2, but some companies are coming out with Q1, and some of those numbers, they have been hit badly by this lockdown. Jindal Stainless Hisar, out there, big revenue decline out there, margins coming in at only around 5%. They normally do a double-digit margin, so that was something that impacted them. They have a debt of close to around 2,000 crores odd, and they reported a net loss this time around, so not a great quarter for them. IRCTC, for obvious reasons, the revenues are down by close to around 78%, and they reported an EBITDA loss this time that compares with the profit. Nilkamal as well, they reported a loss of close to around 30 crores for the past quarter that compares with the net profit of 31 crores. And final, India Bulls Real Estate out there, the revenues declined by more than half, came in at less than 50 crores. They The previous quarter they did around 120 crores odd, though they're sitting on a large amount of unsold inventory as well. So you need to keep an eye out on that. All these numbers, they were hit by the lockdown, didn't look very, very good. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. By the way, HCL Tech has released an update on their Q2 performance, and it's quite positive actually. The company says we have seen strong execution during the quarter to date and continue to execute to the plan this month. The revenue growth for the current quarter expected to exceed 3.5% quarter-on-quarter in constant currency, enabled by broad-based momentum across all service lines, verticals and geographies. The EBIT percentage expected to be between 20.5 and 21, and good booking momentum continues this quarter. So that's very optimistic, update coming in from HCL Tech. I'll go across to Rima in a bit, but in the meantime, Abhishek is also here with us to tell us why he's watching Yes Bank this morning. Hi, Abhishek. Morning.
Good morning, Sonia. So ICRA has upgraded the ratings of various instruments of Yes Bank by a single notch. So total liabilities of 30,200 crores have been upgraded. The key rationale mentioned by them is that the bank has raised capital of 15,000 crore, which has improved its capital ratios. Bank's profile, the liquidity profile has also improved, and they have been able to strengthen their deposit base since April onwards, that the management has even told us. Yes Bank has also repaid its liability to RBI of about 50,000 crore that it received under special liquidity window. Slippages and credit costs may remain high in a stress case scenario, is what ICRA is saying on Yes Bank. Back to you.
Okay, that's important, but as Yes Bank already indicated these positive developments, but this is important, getting a rating upgrade. Agam, BHEL numbers?
Well, very poor set of numbers, with the revenues lower than the lowest estimate that we had and the losses much wider than expectations. We've seen a 56% decline in revenues. There's an EBITDA loss of 1,059 crores and a net loss which has grown by as much as 4 times in comparison to the loss figure last year. There has been an order flow of just 1,500 crores, lower by 60%, and the lockdown has weighed heavily on execution for the quarter.
Okay.
Okay, Agam, thanks a lot for that. We'll keep an eye on BHEL. Let's go across to Rima for some stocks and news. Rima?
Let me start with Bharti, where Moody's has kept the rating unchanged on Bharti Airtel, but they have revised the outlook to a stable versus an earlier negative, and this is given the improving profitability. They've been given a staggered payment, there were price increases, so all that is boding well for Bharti Airtel. TTK Prestige has launched a new category of stainless steel casseroles. The initial launch will be in North India. And for Deepak Fertilizer, remember there was a rights issue which the company had announced in May of 180 crores. What was announced over the weekend is the rights issue price at 133 rupees versus the current market price of 161. Back to you.
All right, and Agam is back with us to tell us about some more stocks that he's watching this morning. Agam, what's on your list?
Right, well, a handful of order flows. I start with ISGEC, where it's received an order of about 126 crores. This is from Hindalco Industries, and of course, this particular order is scheduled over a span of 22 months. Moving on to Kirloskar Ferris, the board has approved the acquisition of VSL Steel's pig iron assets, and for a consideration of 135 crores. And finally, Ratnamani Metals, where it's received a domestic order worth 90 crores in its carbon steel division. This is for CS pipes in the oil and gas sector.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, we mustn't forget that we are also coming on the heels of a fairly sharp fall in crude prices last week, and by end of week, there was no improvement. So do keep the usual suspects, the oil refineries, IOC, HP and BP, as well as paint companies, Asian Paints, Berger Paints, etc. It's possible that the tailwind continues and they continue in the green.
All right, well, here's a quick recap then of our top stocks. We have, in fact, a lot of positive stocks this morning. So here's the list: Reliance Industries, Hexaware, Yes Bank, Bharti Airtel, TTK Prestige, Deepak Fertilizers, Kirloskar Ferris, Ratnamani Metals, HPCL, BPCL, IOC, Asian Paints and Berger Paints. While stocks with negative news flow, there's Tata Motors, BHEL, Jindal Stainless, IRCTC, Nilkamal and India Bulls Real Estate. A quick update on what's been happening in the commodity world now. Manisha Gupta joins in for a roundup of all the action there. Hi Manisha, good morning.
Thank you for that, Sonia. Well, after 2 weeks of declines, we've started crude prices slightly on a higher side, 1/4 to 0.5% for both the varieties. Well, the demand outlook in Asia is still on the weaker side, but a couple of factors which are supportive. One is there is a storm Sally, which can turn into a hurricane strength by today evening and expected to make a landfall today or tomorrow in the north central Gulf. So it has led to some closure yet again in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember, the refineries were still opening up after Laura. So Sally comes next in line here. The other is that the oil and rig count in U.S. has declined yet again, and the markets do see some support come in from the weakness in U.S. dollar, and demand from Europe seems to be getting better, not so much from Asia, and that seems to be supportive. But this is a week where you have so much data coming in. Tomorrow, the 2-day Fed meeting policy starts. You also have Bank of Japan, Bank of England announcing interest rate decisions in this week. So it is a loaded one to begin with.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And this will be the last FOMC, as you say, ahead of the US elections. Thanks a lot for that, Manisha. Well, we have one more important exclusive that came in from Ritu Singh, the latest developments on the DHFL front. If we have Ritu with us? Okay, we will get to Ritu in just a minute. We'll do one thing, we'll take a quick break. We also have to discuss another issue which came in the form of good news last week. Maharashtra government is going to open dine-in at restaurants very soon. We will